Hi, welcome to Citizen McCain. I'm so happy you're here. It is Monday, July 21st. July's just flying by. A reminder to
Mm.
please raise your digital hand if you want to ask me or Miranda or our lovely guest, Selena Zitto, a question. I understand she's already here, but we just have to do
Oh,
a few
wow.
quick things. Thank you for being so early, Selena. We love you. We just have to do a few quick things. First and foremost, Kat is out of the bag. Miranda, our guest for Wednesday, is the lovely
Oh,
Giselle Fetterman,
yeah.
who is Senator John Fetterman's wife, who gets a lot of media attention on her own. And I had a lovely time driving to Braddock, Pennsylvania with Ashley because we couldn't fly, which, by the way, Selena told me you should never fly to Pittsburgh because the flights are always canceled. Pro tip I should have taken because I
Apparently
missed a
that's a
lovely
thing. Who knew?
Yes, I missed a lovely event with her because our flight, it was a airline disaster. I just want to play the clip really quick. And just a reminder, this will be airing Wednesday at noon on Citizen McCain. So we won't have a live show. We're going to have Mrs. Fetterman's interview. Here we go. Brazil, you were a dreamer. You came over here undocumented. Your story is so different than any other senator's wife that I've ever heard, including my mother. Respect to my mother. Can you just tell me a little bit about the experience of coming here undocumented? And, you're someone who, you're an immigrant and you're someone immigrants look to for inspiration and what that feels like to be an icon for so many people.
I think I always say being an immigrant is like living with a broken heart because everyone you love will never be in the same place at once. I was always jealous of like those family reunion photos where they were in jeans and white T-shirts on the beach. You miss that. But I think when you're left with only hard choices to make, you make them. And my mom did not want us to live in a place that was so dangerous. She worried about our safety. She worried about getting home in one piece for us, and she was willing to try in that very difficult choice. And for me, it was a great experience, and I think it was because of perspective. Like my mom made everything like it was a game. It was like this level of Tetris you had to get through, and if things didn't work out, then you try something else. And she always reminded us that you can always start again. So if something happened that it didn't work here, then we would go somewhere else and try it all over again. But what was important was that she tried to provide us the safety that she felt that we deserved.
And there's a lot more to that. And she answers all the questions you want her to answer, including some things about there's things that are said about her and her husband. She does answer it. And I had a really lovely time. Braddock, Pennsylvania, by the way, is gorgeous, like a beautiful, beautiful, spectacular area of Pennsylvania. And I loved it there. And I was sending Ben pictures and he was like, we should just move there. It looks so pretty. So really looking forward to sharing that with you on Wednesday. And we have a bunch of topics to get to, and we will just start with the first one that Selena is here because she is number one. Are you here, Selena? Okay, for people that don't know, but everyone knows, Selena is the journalist and author of the new book, which is now the number one New York Times bestseller in
Yay.
the whole country.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Selena Butler, The Untold Story of the Near Assassination of Donald Trump and the Fight for America's Heartland. You also, because you're so amazing, have sold the movie rights to this. Selena, it's impossible to get a number one book and to sell movie rights to it in this era of media. It's impossible. For people that don't know, it's impossible. Congratulations for all your hard work, all of this. I have ordered the book. I'm so excited to read it. I'm so happy for you. Nobody deserves this more than you, Selena. You work harder than any woman in media. Congratulations. How does it feel to have the number one book in the country?
It feels humbling, and I'm incredibly grateful on a number of levels. I'm grateful to the people that allow me in their homes, that allow me to go in their businesses, that open up their heart and their stories to me. Some of them they think are very mundane, but actually are very rich and tell the fabric of the story of our country. And so I'm very grateful. It's the people that are in the book that tell the story of what was happening leading up to the near assassination of the president, but also what happened after that. I often, and I've said this to you before, Megan, I often feel as though I am straddling two different worlds because I'll go online and I call them, I think everybody else calls them too, the very online. And by the way, they're in the Republican and Democrat Party too. And,
Oh, yeah.
the journalists, they're journalists. And then I go out and I'm like, wow, that is that real? I feel like that's not happening. And then I'm doing my work and I'm like, that's definitely not happening. And interestingly, places like Butler and Erie County and Wilkes-Barre and Johnstown, Pennsylvania, those are the people that decide the election.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Mm-hmm.
And so I always try to help be instructive and say, you guys need to step back and listen to people. So I'm grateful for them for opening their homes up. I'm grateful for them for making this book possible. This book got over the finish line on the backs of regular people
Mm-hmm.
and new media.
Mm-hmm.
Podcasts like yours, no network had me on, no legacy network. I mean, CNN and Fox did, but CBS, NBC, ABC, hard pass.
Well,
Uh,
they're dying on the vine right
Their
now. But
loss for sure.
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's interesting. It says a lot about the center of the country in that someone like me from Western Pennsylvania, who didn't even graduate from community college and was a waitress and a cafeteria lady, like I've done all of it, all the wrong jobs. I've done all of them. Has able to hit that number, and on the same day that Colbert loses, they decide
Mm-hmm.
to not just his show, but just the entire venue, right? It tells you, if we pay attention and we listen and we think about it, everything is disrupted, everything has changed, and that's that's the last chapter of the book, The Reckoning, and I sort of predict that is where we're going.
Well, it's interesting you touched on that because this was our first topic we wanted to get into with you. So just on a side note, Miranda has been calling Colbert being canceled for a while. And I didn't think it was going to get canceled just simply because I think these shows are like sacred cows. In the same way that it's like The View is in no representation of anyone in the country except very wealthy progressive women. That's it, nothing else. Trust me. And that show's still staying on the air. And I just think of these places as it doesn't matter that Colbert was losing $40 million a year, which we want to get into that too. I just thought he would be protected forever because he's the king of anti-woke commentary. I wouldn't even call him a comedian at this point. One of the things I found so jarring is just the money being pumped into these places. That show costs $100 million, which to me is like, I mean, first of all, that's the GDP of like middle level countries. I mean, it's like so much money. Like, it's like what I imagine like Tom Cruise movies to cost. Like, I don't understand. You're in one studio, you're not traveling, it's one host. Like, what are you spending $100 million on? Like, when I found that out, I was like so flabbergasted. And then again, like at the same time, you, Selena, who doesn't have air conditioning, and I say that with like total respect and amazingness, like
Oh
has a
my God, I
number
couldn't
one
live.
book and
How do you
probably a
survive?
number one movie coming out. Like, what, like, so can we just delve into this? Miranda, tell Selena why you predicted Colbert. And I think what you're saying about media just completely changing and your book being number one at the same time Colbert being canceled, I actually do think that's a flashpoint.
So
Yeah.
Colbert's staff is incredibly bloated. They have more than 200 people who work on that show.
Why?
Exactly why. And a lot of them were carryovers from the Colbert Report, which is also owned by CBS, Viacom, Paramount, Walmart, whoever owns them at this point, because it's just everybody is mushed together. So when you consider this, the sheer mass of people who work on that show, there's a bajillion dollars in salary, and then Colbert's personal salary. He makes a fortune. These hosts make way too much money. The shows are
Makes 18 million. Yeah, that was reported. Yeah.
okay, so there's a ton of money there, and the advertising dollars, they just don't translate because people are cord cutting. People are watching these shows on YouTube. They're watching these shows on Paramount Plus, wherever they can get them. So I have been calling this, saying these shows cannot survive. They can't exist, especially in a Trump presidency, because all they do is get on and bash Trump for 25 minutes, hard. They bash him so hard. It's very hard to watch, even as someone who is not a Trump voter. It's hard to watch. And so then they talk to a celebrity for 7 minutes and then it's over. So there's no way, especially when considering Paramount is trying, or CBS is trying to merge with Skydance. Trump has to approve this merger. There's no way he's going to approve this merger when all they do is bash him every single night hard, like really, really, really brutal, terrible, mean, cruel, insanely mean stuff. So I know that and I said this the night that it happened, and it's come out since that everybody's theory is the same as mine, that it's a political move, that he was a sacrifice or whatever.
I think it's about money.
I think it's both. Personally, I think it's a little bit of both. And I don't think that Trump asked them to fire him. Personally, I don't think he said get rid of Steven and I'll approve the merger. I just think it's more of a symbolic, hey, we're gonna end this and put something else there, or maybe run reruns. But you can ask Megan or some of my other people that I speak to in media. But yes, for about a month or so, when they approved the payout of the lawsuit for 60 minutes, I said Steven's gone. He's going to be gone.
So I think I've been covering this for a while, and it seems to have happened all of a sudden, but actually this has been churning since about 2004, 2008. We're in a very disruptive cycle in our culture. So what do I mean by that? So things that were you expected to be there forever, like to your point, Megan, think about Sears and Kmart. They are it, right? And in particular Sears, because they didn't even give you a choice. You bought their brand, right? Husky, Craftsman, Kenmore, right? And they had everybody's address in the entire country because of the wish list, right? The wish book. However, they didn't understand when Amazon came on board, and Amazon was a disruptor. How so? Well, you didn't have to buy a Kenmore. You could buy 32 different dishwashers, right? You had choice, and it disrupted the system. And the same goes for, even as simple as the mail, right? Think about FedEx. Before FedEx, everything was, we're going to buy it. We're going to, it's going to take 3 to 6 days for the mail. FedEx comes along and says, well, if you absolutely have to have it the next day, and everything is disrupted. Why? And think about the iPhone. When I was growing up, I'm aged, but when I was growing up, the phone was attached to something in the house, right? You couldn't even have a private conversation if you liked a boy, right? Like everybody was listening to it. Everything we can do everything we do at work, like 70% of the country, on our phone. So everything was disrupted. Why did we not think that was going to come in our politics? Right. And because everyone in the middle of the country who have been obediently voting the way they're supposed to vote have now disrupted the entire system, because the system stopped listening to them. It stopped working for them. It stopped hearing them. And that's what I believe has. So CBS blowing up at the like taking an iconic show is the same thing as Kmart shutting down. It just didn't work for the people anymore because it didn't share the cultural ties anymore.
Well, Selena, I've known you a very long time, because I remember when you covered my dad when I was younger on his campaign. Yes, I mean, you've been around a really long time, but you really came to national, and I would even say international prominence after Trump's first election, because you were one of the few people saying from the hilltops, Trump's going to win. Like, he's going to win this election. And that was like really the thing. And the thing that I don't understand in this moment is, when I was much younger, I remember when I was 13, my dad went on Jay Leno, and I was so excited because Jay Leno was like the biggest show. And Jay Leno was known for being someone who was not political and Republicans could go on. And I ended up going on his show. He was extremely supportive of me in my career. Like, I think I went on like more than 30 times. Like, he was wonderful. He's still a wonderful man. I have the utmost respect for him. He is not political. He's not. He's like, I'm here to make you laugh. I'm here to entertain you. And I can remember talking to him backstage many times, and he was like, I am here people have had long days. They work hard. They want to go home, get in front of the TV on their couch or their bed, whatever. They want to laugh and go to sleep. That's my job. And I always loved that. And I always loved that it was a place where George Bush or Ted Cruz or whoever could go on. And I actually think that if there was a person in late night that was actually trying, or any place on main TV, maybe it wouldn't be this bad. But like you said, I have tried to watch Colbert. I've never watched a whole show, but I've seen clips of it. And honestly, like he doesn't seem super emotionally stable to me. He's always just like screaming and crying about Republicans. And like, I have no desire to watch that. And I also just think that like, if you're losing $40 million a year and you have no respect for what kind of money that is, which is unfathomable money for everybody who isn't a hedge fund manager. Like, I think like if you have such little respect for money and what you're doing to this company, yeah, you deserve to have your show taken away. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to go out quietly. Really quickly, we have a question from Joy for Selena. Thank you so much for calling in. Hi, Joy. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Calling? I'm good. Where are you calling in from?
Illinois. I'm in Illinois. So,
Fantastic.
yes.
What's your question?
Well, my question for Selena is, I had no idea that you didn't graduate college, so I'm just curious. Like, I didn't go to college, but I'm just curious, how did you make such a wonderful career in journalism, not graduating college? And also, how did you become so savvy in seeing the cultural shifts before they happen? Like, you're talking like you saw this coming in 2004. I'm like, I didn't even know Colbert had
20
a
years
show.
ago.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
in 2004. And so how you just kind of followed that line to now, how did you get so savvy in doing that?
So I don't know if I'm savvy. I think a lot of it has to do with geography. I live in Western Pennsylvania. And local newspapers, I mean, I swear the best reporters I worked with in local newspaper are people that did not go to college, that just knew their community. They
Same,
knew,
by the way. Like same.
yeah. They could cover the cops, they could cover school boards, they could cover the water authority without bias, with making sure that people got information. And I was just very good at that. And I just had a good instinct for it. I don't know. I don't know how I got here, to be honest. I worked in a newspaper that also allowed me to cover American politics the way I thought was important. So not to fly and not to take the turnpike. I thought it was really important to stay on the back roads, that I could see people on a granular level and understand what they're concerns with. I'll tell you, when the moment I saw the possibility of a Trump, and it was 10 years before it happened. It was 2006. It was the midterm elections. Republicans had the majorities in the House and the Senate, and Republicans had lost touch with what was important to voters. Right? They weren't listening to what their concerns were about. They were about the war. They were about spending, right? And they were and they were not happy with the continuous scandals. You can probably remember those, Megan. And Rahm Emanuel, who was the chief of staff, or the head of the DCCC, went out and picked Democrats to run against Republicans. They were basically Republicans. Right? And they won. I mean, they were pro-life, they were pro-gun, they were pro-fiscal responsibility. And people that would normally vote Republican voted for them. It's not like they like Democrats more, but they were so mad at Republicans that in particular Republican establishment, that they were willing to vote for Democrats. And I wrote at the time, this is 2006, and I said, if this continues, this is not telling us that people love Democrats more. It's telling us that there's a movement started within all of the parties, and something is changing. And if this continues, within 10 years, we will have a populist, center-right populist as president.
Wow.
I didn't know I was that smart, but I was.
That is crazy.
Well, is there anything else you would like to ask, Joy?
I just, a comment, I guess. I just feel like if the Democratic Party is doing so many autopsies right now on the election, and I feel like all the way leading up to it, they just listened to everybody except voters. Like, I feel like the voters were the one set of people they did not listen to. And they're all like scrambling now, like, what's going on? What? And I feel like they still won't. It's just like, just listen to your voters. I don't know how more clear it could be made to them, or really both parties. I'm really hoping the Republican Party, post-Trump, doesn't lose they're listening to. I mean, I don't know if it was them specifically that listened, but I think Trump definitely did.
Absolutely.
So either
Selena,
party.
I think, sorry, Joy, I think to interrupt you, I think Joy makes a good point. Selena, where do you see Democrats going from here? Because, I just interviewed Giselle Federman. John Federman, is incredibly popular in the state of Pennsylvania. I think he's a great blueprint, but I'm a Republican. So, of course, I think he's a great blueprint. But when we see like Zohan Mamdani, in New York, like, do you think that's going to be more likely nominee that Democrats are going to be like, screw what voters actually want? We'll put okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
they have shown. So I detail everything.
Miranda's gonna have a heart attack.
I'm gonna lose my mind. Yeah,
She's
no.
a centrist.
I'm a center left. Yeah, no.
In the book, I detail throughout the rest of the campaign every message that Democrats got wrong. Now, that's not my local Democrats, right?
Mhm.
My local Democrats like Shapiro, Federman, but also all the men and women that I have known for 30 plus years. They're like, oh my God, what are we doing? And that's detailed throughout the book. The amount of times and things that they got wrong in Pennsylvania, my brain would explode every day. I'm like, I can't believe they're doing this here. And the sad thing is they're continuing to do it.
Yeah.
Like there's no lessons learned. You've got two amazing Democrats in my state. We are incredibly blessed. Last week, we had President Trump, we had Secretaries Bessent and Lutnick and Rice, Wright. We also had Fetterman, we had McCormick, we had Shapiro, all in one room, all on the same stage, all talking about things to get people in the state to a better place. I was so proud of my state in that moment. And I interviewed all of them. But dollars to donuts, I really struggled to see Shapiro or Fetterman, if they decided to run for president, to get out of a primary because in primaries, either the left or the right flank usually decide who wins their state. And they're too far left on the Democrat side to let someone like Shapiro rise up or Fetterman. And it's a shame because these are two men that understand two really important things in the same way that McCormick and Trump do. Show up, go to Erie County, go to Johnstown, Pennsylvania, right?
So true.
And to get, am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get shit done. I mean, that's Shapiro's motto is get shit done. And you see it with Trump and McCormick and Fetterman.
Well, I wanted to ask you too. This was something that just came across my transom right before we came on. There's an article that just came out in the New York Post about Mayor Pete spending more money on DEI training than air traffic controllers. And I just know from because I would have loved to gone to that event with you, Selena, and had I gotten there in time, I would have. Thank you again for the invitation. But, flying to and from Pittsburgh was a hellscape. It was horrible. Like it was really bad. And I was texting with a girlfriend who had a really horrible flight to Detroit. She was pregnant and she's was delayed for almost 5 hours. And she was just going crazy. And I was like, why is it like this still? It's so awful. But Mayor Pete wants to be president. And let me tell you, you're spending more money on DEI training than air traffic controls. I just don't know how you sell that. But he certainly thinks he's the everyman come here to save us.
The beard does not make him an everyman. I'm sorry.
I know.
It does not make you an everyman. Look, I interviewed Mayor Pete when he was the mayor, and he was running for DNC chair. It was a long shot. He was very different guy than the guy that was our transportation secretary and the guy who was president. He was really grounded. He didn't make fun of people. He didn't, jump on the far left bandwagon. He was very pragmatic. And I was thinking, I did it for the New York Post. I was thinking, this guy's kind of got his act together, right? This could be you could build a coalition on listening and talking to people this way. Well, that all changed when he ran for president. The rhetoric was completely different.
Yeah. Joy, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
my
Joy.
husband didn't graduate college either. So, I'm just
Me
surrounded by
either. Big surprise.
Brandon didn't either. I'm the asshole that did. And let me tell you, the dumbest people I ever met, I went to an Ivy League school with, and the dumbest people I ever met that I worked with went to Harvard.
Oh
The
my.
dumbest, the dumbest. And I'd say that like couldn't do simple tasks, dumb. So
Wow.
I have a whole new perspective on college that just may not be needed by the time my kids are old enough. I don't know. Look at Selena. Thank you so much, Joy. Selena, I do
Joy.
want to talk about your book, obviously, because again, I can't say it enough. Getting to #1 on the New York Times list is it's like impossible. Like
Amazing.
nobody does it. Like really, congratulations.
Like
And there are people that have
reality
been
stars.
paid.
It's amazing to have like a real book make it to
It does
#1.
not happen anymore. I
Yeah.
don't like it does not happen unless you're like J.K. Rowling. And
Yeah.
literally people are
Yeah.
paid. Yeah, there's a cover. People are paid millions of dollars
Beautiful.
to release books that, don't do well. I do want to ask you though, part of your book is obviously, I mean, as we remember, you were present during the assassination attempt on Trump, which was horrific. Everyone was so scared. There's this picture of you on the ground in your cowboy boots that went everywhere. It was so awful, so scary. We were all so worried about you and obviously the president. But you were surprised, and you talk about this in your book about how awful the media was following the assassination attempt. And it's funny, this is a big part of your book because I can remember tweeting like "God be with President Trump and his family," and just getting like eviscerated by commentators who are like, "How can you say that after what he said to your family?" I'm like, "Well, he was shot in the face, and that's crazy, and it's awful and scary, and things in the past are not going to dictate how I feel in this moment. It's bad for everybody if, God forbid, President Trump, if that psychopath was successful." Why do you think the media was so awful? I saw somebody on CNN, Teray, a few days ago saying the alleged assassination attempt that he was allegedly shot.
Yeah,
What
people
the hell
don't
is
believe
that?
it. It's crazy.
What the hell is that?
I'm
You
laying
were
on the
there.
ground. I'm laying on the ground, and the my phone's in my hand, my recorder's on because
Ugh.
I always have my recorder on when anybody does a speech because it's important to grab the nuance, right? You can't just put like a flat sentence down. You have to add the emotion of what someone says. So my recorder was on, and I'm seeing these stories flash up saying that he was, there was an incident, and then it was glass, and I'm like, guys, oh my God. Like I had an editor back in the day, Jim Cuddy, who always said, Zitto, you're not supposed to be first. You're supposed to be right. But that entered the American lexicon. I had a reporter, to your point the other day, podcaster, I won't name her, who said to me, who's been in the business for a very long time, said to me, Selena, was he really shot? And I was like, I'm not answering that question.
Why would someone? I don't understand. It's like
a man
psychotic.
died, for God's sake.
No, like it's really sick. Why would a journalist? I mean, I guess. Sorry, it's really shocking that someone would ask you that. I'm sorry, especially given that you were part of that
And
trauma.
the trauma, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like in that situation, and again, we were all because I know you and we're old friends. Like it was like very scary. I can remember like I was at a date with Ben at the MGM casino because we were gonna gamble, and it came across our phones, and I was like, "Oh my fucking God, Selena's there!" And like he was like, "Oh my God," and we were like freaking out because nobody knew anything, and you just saw blood, and like so for anyone to downplay it or anything, like you should have your job taken away, and you should not be on camera anymore. And that I don't care how you feel about Trump. It's horrific and no one should be in that situation. But people also, aside from being psychotic in that way, people just, I don't think, treated it in the same way that they would had like President Obama had an assassination attempt or whatever. And to me, I was like, this is one of the worst moments of my lifetime that I'm going to have to explain to my kids what happened. And why do you think that the media still has such a hard time treating him like a human?
A human, yeah.
Yeah.
And today's the day. Today's the 21st that we're talking, and today's the day that Biden dropped out, and it was the day that if the shooting was a game changer, this day was something that completely changed American politics. Why? Because it was the day that my profession decided to go look at that shiny object and then continue on with the Harris and then who's going to be the VP, and completely just memory hold the fact that a former president and the presidential nominee for the Republican Party had been shot. It was gone. It was gone from the news cycle. It was gone from print. All intellectual curiosity about what happened, but also trying to recognize like what the implications are, and sort of just get inside the head of a guy that just got shot. I mean, I talked to him the next day, but today's like a 1 year anniversary of everything changing.
And he said, I just saw an interview recently where he said he still has hearing issues. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I just talked to him Wednesday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. So
It's Monday.
and one of the most, like, I don't know if your listeners know this, but he called me the first thing the next morning.
Wow.
I had just seen him 5 minutes before he went out. Through a series of, we're going to do the interview, we're not going to do the interview, you're going to go to Bedminster. And he wanted to say hi before I went out. Always ask about my grandchildren by name, which is amazing.
Nice.
But he called me the next morning, and the first thing he said was, Selena, are you okay? Well, first thing he said was, this is Trump. Well, of course, you're Donald Trump. But are you okay? Is your daughter okay? She's a photojournalist. She was with me. She did the cover. And then he said, I'm really sorry that we didn't get to do the interview. And I like swore like a truck driver. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you've just been shot.
Yeah.
He would go on to call me 7 times that day. Very profound conversations about purpose and faith.
Can I ask you a question, Selena? So he, and I talked about this on the show before, he has reached out through people and then wrote me a note after Christmas, around Christmas time this year, and has invited Ben and I to the White House when our dear friend Tulsi Gabbard was confirmed to be DNI, which was an extremely overwhelming and moving experience, by the way. Going to office, which I had never done before, is very emotionally overwhelming. I don't care who you are. It's like, it's just really like, it's just so incredible. He and his staff have been like weirdly warm to Ben and I, given all our past bad blood. And everyone tells me it's a post-Butler thing, that he really had like, he almost died. And then he had like sort of a crisis of whatever, because he confronted his mortality. Do you think that, are there other people that have stories like I do that are like, he's really gone out of the way to try and like make amends post Butler?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely changed him profoundly. And I will just give you a small example of that. Last week at that event, President Trump, I did an interview with him. And these interviews are like in a cornered off, like with curtains around you, right? And inside the area are Secret Service and staff. And I'm with the photographer that I've covered Trump with dozens of times. He knows him by the first name. I'm not going to use his first name. On our way to that event, this photographer shared with me his father is terminally ill. And I know his father really, really loves President Trump. I couldn't tell you what the photographer's political leanings are. And for even though we worked together for 20 years, I have no idea. I had a book with me, one of my books. And I've never asked the president for anything, ever. And after the interview, I asked him, I said, President Trump, his dad is ill. And it would be an honor for him if you would just sign this book for his dad. He says, of course. First he said, Zitto, you never ask me for anything. And then he said, sure. So he signs it and he looks up at Justin. Oh, sorry. He looks up at the photographer. And you can tell he's very emotional as he does it. And he says, I'm going to do you one better. And he holds up the book with his dad's name on it. And he says, this is for you. I want to give a message to your dad. Put that video thing on. And he says, hi, this is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump. Of course, he says that. Because I just want you to know that you have a good boy. He works really hard. Well, what dad doesn't want to hear that, right? And I'm going to compartmentalize it. But, we never know what God really has planned for us. And so you should have faith. And the next time I'm in town, and he looks at the photographer and says, make sure this happens. I want to visit with you. And I look up and there's not a dry eye in the room.
Yeah.
And so those are those moments. I've seen a lot of those moments. I saw that moment with Mark Fogel, the teacher who had been held in a prison in Russia, with him and his mom at Butler on the day he was shot. You know, or the next visit, I can't remember now. But you know, he's definitely changed. And it has to do with that recognition that the hand of God was there in that moment. He was saved for a purpose, and he believes his purpose is to do the best that he can for the country, how he envisions the country should look.
That's fascinating, and it's what has been conveyed to me by other people as well, which I just think is so interesting. Because if I were him, I don't know if I would want me in my space. So he clearly doesn't care anymore. I do want to ask you. You know, you sold the movie rights to this. What do you imagine the movie looking like? Who do you want to star? Like, I mean, this is a very intense
Who can
story.
play President Trump? Like
Well,
sincerely,
no,
not as a joke. Yeah.
No, it'll be him. There will be footage of him. The book is a lot about the death of journalism and the importance of shoe leather journalism. Obviously, I think Marissa Tomei would be perfect.
Oh yeah,
Same
I love
age.
her.
We both have the same little attitude. I will tell you a little bit has been filmed already.
Oh wow.
Wow.
It
Already.
is what you see are my cowboy boots, getting into my beat up Jeep, and trust me, my Jeep is really beat up, and driving away from Butler. And then the camera pans back and you see the cranes with the American flag, and you see the Butler Farm Show, and you see Kid Rock playing Born Free, and then the credits go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to watch it whenever it comes out. And like I said, nobody works harder than you. Like, really, congratulations on all of this. I really I'm so proud of you and so excited for all of this. I want to ask you just to switch gears a little bit. I interviewed Giselle Federman. As you know, you have known John Federman for 20 years. I did not know you knew him for 20 years. That's crazy. Like, you know, he is someone who, when I interviewed her, it is very evident in this interview that she is deeply impacted by the intense media scrutiny, how hard it's been. She basically says in the interview that she cannot go anywhere without people screaming at her, that people are kind, but people are also like incredibly vicious as well. And I said to her, there is nothing like when progressives think that you were in their tribe and then you're not.
Yeah.
Same thing for Senator Fetterman as well. Has he, you know, his political evolution, you know, he's, as we all know, he's the most moderate Democrat in the Senate. Can you tell us, he is popular in Pennsylvania. Can you tell us why? And can you tell me, do you think he will run for office again? And does he have a chance of winning? Because like you said with the primary voters before, I just feel like he's a scalp that people like David Hogg will want to get out of the Senate.
Oh, I forgot David Hogg existed.
Oh my God. He just said the nastiest thing 2 days ago. He said that someone asked him, and I think it was a Politico like panel.
Oh, yeah.
How are you going to like make your agenda better? And he said, I'm going to outlive them. They're going to die soon.
Oh,
like,
awesome.
but
So
also
gross.
like that's the messaging. Like, I'm not going to win over hearts and minds with my, like, you know,
wait for everyone to drop dead. Ugh.
Oh my God. Like, what? I was like, and also, hey, ass fuck, go win an election.
Yeah.
Why don't you work on a campaign? Yeah, I can swear on this, Lena, but just like why don't you try and run for something and win that's not like a panel, like at a DNC? Like he's never run for office. He's never won anything. He's never worked on a campaign. Just went to Harvard and now does this. I'm like, it's so rude. It's so awful. Like, you'll die.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Ashley, clip that for social media, please. That was
I'm sorry to swear like that, but I just find it like so disrespectful. Like,
I know.
it's such a
So bad.
disgusting thing to say. Like,
As they say around here, he's a jag-off.
yeah.
So the first time I covered Senator John Fetterman was in 2005. He was running for mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania, and he won by one absentee ballot.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every vote counts. Wow.
Tiny little town, used to be much, much bigger. It is where the oldest U.S. steel plant is, that Edgar Thomson works. I don't know. Did you go to their house?
Yes, but it's like, I mean, I feel bad for them because I feel like the town's so small, people know like generally where they live, but that
Everybody knows where they live. Yes.
We talked about it. I was like, this doesn't seem that safe for you guys. Like, anyway, go ahead.
I agree with you. And so look, John Federman, with the exception of the time he was recovering from his stroke and depression, which I also think that people don't like the weight of depression on our mental, like how we function and how we think, also has, I think, as much of an impact as the stroke did. I think once he got out, like in 2022, it wasn't really his message, right? There were a lot of hands in his message. And I remember, I mean, nobody was more critical of that campaign, not of John, but of that campaign, because that message, there wasn't enough transparency. I mean, it went days before we knew he had a stroke. And I understand privacy, but you're also, running for office. But, this is who John Fetterman has always been. He's never got the endorsement of his party, ever. The establishment of his party always strongly disliked him. You have to remember that he took on a sitting lieutenant governor, Democrat, and beat him in a primary. That's never happened before. He's always been his own person. And now that he has recovered, and he's been recovered for a while. He's been recovered since 2023, right? Going into that.
He seems fine, like in interviews.
He's totally fine. That story about him was total bullshit. I'm just here to say that.
Yeah. And anyone who can see him in a live interview, he's fine. And I want to say one thing about that. I did not bring up that interview because I'm polite. And I just think that interview that you're referencing, there was an article that came out about Senator Fetterman that was really just an absolute hatchet job. And anyone who knows anything about journalism and reporting knows that's the case. And there's nothing that makes my skin crawl more, Miranda and Selena, than, quote, ex-staffers going off the record. Because an ex-staffer could mean like someone who drove you in a car for 10 minutes from like a rally point to another. It can mean anything. It's so nebulous. It's like whatever. And people were saying unkind things about him and saying that he basically was not in control of himself. And I'm like, he just did a live interview talking about why Mamdani is going to be detrimental for Democrats and what he wants to do moving forward with the stimulus bill. I'm sorry. He's fine. That's ridiculous. What an absurd. And by the way, Democrats, you let Dianne Feinstein go on the Senate floor 48 hours before she died. So let's really take a beat here. Not whatever.
Disgusting. What they did to him was disgusting. And I wrote a piece about it. I sat down and interviewed him and McCormick for the first time together at his house in Braddock for the Washington Post. When Senator McCormick had a book party for me in April, Fetterman showed up and spoke at it at length. I just had a book party at a barn in Westmoreland County. He showed up and spoke at it. There is nothing wrong with him. In terms of the criticism about him not, showing up for votes, that's who he's always been. If he thinks he's useless, not important, and his vote's not going to matter, he's going to spend time in the state. And people knew that when they voted for him because he did that as a lieutenant governor.
Why is he such a lightning rod? Is it just his politics, the way he dresses? Why is she such a lightning rod? And do you think that they will run for office again? Because like I said in this interview, one thing that is very clear is this has taken a toll on her. It is very clear. Yeah.
So I first met Giselle, I'm trying to think, maybe we're probably about the same time that John won or a little bit after. She runs this place. I don't know if you got to see the free store.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
It's wonderful. I donate stuff there all the time. One year I donated $200 worth of Girl Scout cookies. By the way, it made me very popular. But, and there's other ones that have opened. So she's always been very engaged in the community of Braddock, an area that's not always seen a lot of love. It's a place that people fled as opposed to came to. And
it's really beautiful. It's really stunning. I really found it so gorgeous.
Yeah. It is, and it's a very historic site. I mean, that's when General Braddock and George Washington had one of their first battles in the French and Indian War and lost. like big time. But that's when Washington rose up because Braddock was mortally wounded there. So there's like so much history there. And it's all like in the Mon Valley. So you've got the mountains, you've got the river. So they have been really engaged in their neighborhood. I don't think it's been easy on her. I don't know how easy it's been on the kids. I think being like second lady in Pennsylvania, that was much more a comfortable place for her because she was home, right? She's in Pennsylvania, and they opened up the swimming pool at the lieutenant governor's mansion. It's a really mansion, but they really tried to be very open and welcoming. And I don't know if he runs again. I suspect that if he does, he will win because the Democrats in the state, the fringe is becoming less and less powerful, and the middle is becoming more and more fortified.
I like him, and I think one of the things that made me laugh is that he's the first senator to have a 9-inch nails tattoo. Like, I don't know, I like that. Miranda can't hear.
I went to 2 9-inch
I'm gonna
nail
spit my coffee out.
One with David Bowie. So
That's incredible.
I respect that.
Yeah, I don't know. I something about that. I was like, I like that. I don't know why I like that so much, but I do. I don't know. I just think he's original and interesting, and it makes me happy just for all the, I don't know how many woke people we have watching or listening to this, but it's important for the DC Beltway media and the people who are attacking him so much just because, he's not a psychopath progressive to know that he is popular in his state. That's the only thing that matters. And he's popular with centrists and people like me, and people like me vote too. Okay. So people like me like him, and sorry, David Hogg and whoever else, but it's not just your world we're all living in. Like, I don't just live in like the progressive whatever space. And it's just, I don't know, it's making me crazy. Really quickly, I don't know if you saw, there is a progressive candidate running for Congress in Arizona, named Deja Fox, who ran at the same time, like as a very progressive candidate, was endorsed by David Hogg, who went down, and she lost by a lot. And people are comparing her to, I believe she lost by 40 points. Like, it was significant. And they're comparing her to Zohan Mamdani, who obviously won in New York City. This blueprint of doing the most progressive candidate, do you legitimately believe that is the pathway Democrats are going to go, hell or high water, despite the fact that it will more than likely lose elections unless we nominate Donald Duck?
Yeah, I do. I don't think that.
What is wrong with them? Do they like losing? I don't understand.
Well, my profession also boxes them in and forces them to be this way, right?
Okay.
Like they herald it, right? Because a lot of them think in that same way. So journalists really aren't doing Democrats any favors by doing two things. Just like if Donald Trump breathes, he's a fascist, and you need to go further and further left. And those two things are just really bad for Democrats.
Yeah.
Most people are in the center and they can have a buffet of different opinions, but the Democrats have pushed the ability to do that out. And that's why so many have ended up in the Republican column.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. And obviously, please come back during the next election to tell us what you're hearing, seeing, reporting. I just want to ask you guys one fun question, then I'll let you go, Selena, because I know you have a big book tour and you've got a lot going on. But I'm sure we all saw this, but I still want to show you again, number 3, this kiss camera moment that went viral in Boston. It's ridiculous. I know I got to show it just in case someone's living under a rock. Number 3, please. So this, for people that don't know,
look at these two.
There you go.
All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Okay, so for people that somehow don't know, this is the CEO of something called Astronomer, Andy Byron, and his HR executive, Kristen Cabot. No good, you guys, no good. They were both placed on administration leave, but Byron resigned over the weekend. Cabot remains under internal investigation. Are people not aware that when you leave the house, there are cameras, especially at an event like that? And why do you think this has taken hold? It's being parodied everywhere. This is just all over the zeitgeist. Why do you think people are so interested in this?
It brings us together.
Yes.
Come on, think about it. There have been two cultural moments in the past couple of years that have brought us together. Do you remember when Tracy Chapman and Luke Combs sang
Oh,
Fast
yeah.
together?
Huh?
How like we all like loved that.
Yeah. I love
Like that was
them.
like a
Yeah.
warm fuzzy. This is like, are you freaking kidding me? And we also get like, and then the memes, right? And it just like both moments made us smile and feel good in different ways. And we shouldn't feel good that someone's husband cheated on her. However, it's pretty funny the memes that have happened afterwards. Like you just can't have, you just
Also,
can't.
with your HR person, like
She should
what?
know better. HR?
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Miranda, what did you think? It was all over my
Oh my
social media
God,
all
Megan,
weekend.
I woke up and you had been texting me about it for like 4 hours because we live on different coasts. So
Sounds right.
I'm like, astronauts were hooking up. I thought it was like I thought it was Sunny and Butch. Like I was like, what? What? And so like it took me hours to even get coherent enough to figure it out. And then once I figured it out, it's the best thing I've seen since Ocean Gate, the submarine, because
Ocean Gate.
just everybody online is just all over it. I don't think Chris Martin has ever been this popular because people love to shit on Coldplay, and now everybody loves Coldplay. So it's just the best. This is the best thing to come out of the internet in years. The memes are fabulous. Like Selena said, they're just fantastic. I honestly, it's probably already killed by now, but it's my favorite. I cannot get
They
enough.
never die.
This won't die.
It just
They
can't.
never die.
Chris
Yeah.
Martin is messy, messy, messy. That woman who took the video is giving interviews on like Inside Edition, and that is messy, and I love it. If those two had just played it off like they were a real couple, none of this would have ever happened, and we would have all been deprived of just a really great weekend. So I'm
TMZ had a
so-
video of them making out, like someone that was behind them that was taking
Oh.
video. Yeah, I know.
I
It's
missed
like,
that one. Oh my
They
gosh.
were smooching. They were
And
Wait,
you know
smooching.
just
what? I
one
would've-
more thing for you guys. Just one more parody because I thought this was so funny. Number 4, please. This happened at the Phillies game over the weekend. This is, I don't know if you guys see this. It's so good for people that haven't. Okay, so those are the Phillies mascots. Can you
kiss
see?
cam. Yeah.
Freaking out. Dodging, like doing this thing. This is never going to die. You're right, Selena.
Philly
It's going to be
fanatic.
everywhere forever. It's so good. It's so funny. And also, guys, like, don't cheat on your spouses. Like,
But you know what? That guy was
yeah.
probably a jerk already.
Mhm.
And you know what? I felt bad for his wife for 1 second until I realized he was a billionaire, and she gets to be free.
She is bringing
She's
home
free
money.
and
Yeah.
paid, and she gets to live her life free of that jabroni. So
Yeah.
kudos.
Yeah, take him
kudos
to the
her.
cleaners, ma'am. Take
Yeah.
all his money.
Kudos to you, ma'am. Yes.
Never gonna not be funny. Selena, you're an angel. Thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, go pick up Butler, the untold
Yes.
story of the near assassination attempt of Donald Trump and the fight for America's heartland. You can follow Selena on X at Zitto Selena. And truly, I know I said it already, but congratulations! Like all the props and flowers. It really is. I'm so excited for you, and nobody deserves it more. You work so hard, and really to see you as #1 bestseller. I was like, God, that's incredible. Like, I've never been anywhere near #1 bestseller, whatever that's worth. So, congratulations and come back anytime, Selena.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Love you. Thank you, Selena.
See you soon. And seriously, you guys, go pick up her book. It's really fantastic. And like I said, it's so fun when your friends
amazing.
succeed. It's like so fun. I love it when my friends succeed. And we have known Selena for a million years.
Love
She's
her.
always, you guys, she's always out in like campaign time, like sweating to death in like
Literal
tiny
boots.
towns. Yes, in cowboy boots.
Actual
Like,
boots on the ground.
eating
Yes.
like fair food for days on end, like fried things and corn on a stick, and just really sacrificing so much. Like she really works so hard, and I'm so happy for her. And like I said,
Props to
just-
everybody. Gosh, she's amazing.
everybody order the book. Okay, really quick, we just have a few more things. We want to remind you that if you're listening on the podcast and you want to join the virtual audience during our live tapings, you can register to do that at 2a.tv/Megan. And if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do it at youtube.com/@CitizenMcCain YouTube. We have a few things to talk about. First and foremost, Miranda is going to go see this movie. I saw Eddington
Yes.
over the weekend, the new Ari Aster movie. We're not going to do a full review, but Miranda is going to go see it and we'll do one together. And I didn't give you any notice. I was just like, oh, yo, Ben and I are going to see this. You should
Yeah,
see
like
this too. I'm
Saturday
so
night, you're
sorry.
like, go see this movie
I didn't give her
tomorrow.
enough. This is not Miranda's fault. Miranda didn't get enough time. But I want to say it's getting very mixed reviews, and Ben and I loved it and think it's like our favorite movie of the year.
No,
We
even Nick
thoroughly
wants to
enjoyed
go
it.
see it, which he never wants to go see anything.
Go
So
see it
he
with
really
Nick.
wants to go see it.
I'd be really curious with Nick's take, honestly, like what his feeling of it is. It's a very sharp, like, takedown of everybody, of Democrats, of Republicans, of like, I mean, I wouldn't say Democrats and Republicans. I'd say crazy progressives and then like alt-right QAnon people. And Joaquin Phoenix is amazing in it. Pedro Pascal, you know, everybody loves Yummy
Can
Pedro
do no
Pascal.
wrong,
He's so
my
good in
boyfriend.
it. Yeah,
Yes.
so good. Keep him in everything. I love him. He's so good. Emma Stone is so good in
Love
it,
Emma
and it's like
Stone. Yes.
so like a great cast, and it's like I said, it's getting very mixed reviews, and I was actually shocked by that. But apparently, a bunch of liberals, including the New York Times film critic, thinks that you can't parody COVID. It's set in COVID time in 2020. You can't
COVID is
parody
old
COVID,
news, man.
and you can't parody Black Lives Matter. Like you know, a lot of the absurdity that was attached to that. I say you can, and I think I'm going to predict that Miranda and Nick love it too.
Okay.
And I think Ashley's interested in seeing it with her wife. And I actually predict, I think you guys, because I think everyone here has a sense of humor. Okay. Like, I think everyone here is not precious. I don't work with precious people. I can't handle it. No one can either. So that's all I have to say about that.
Is it spooky like Midsummer and
No,
Hereditary?
it's not like, it's more like a psychological thriller.
Okay.
It is not a classic horror movie at all.
Because he did not like Nick did not like Hereditary. And
Ashley and I were just talking about how we could only see it once.
I did
Both of
not
us, I could
even
only watch
bother
it once.
making him watch Midsummer. I watched that by myself.
I
Which
really liked
loved.
Midsummer.
I loved Midsummer.
I saw Midsummer.
I think that's a movie for the girlies, I think.
I saw the director's cut of Midsummer on accident. Didn't know it was the director's cut with my two friends in Boston when I was visiting them. Had no idea what it was. And I was like, what is this? Like, this movie's crazy. What is this?
For the girls.
Like,
That's one for the girls.
I was like, what am I watching? What am I watching? And I'm normally like really bored. Nothing holds my attention. So I just want to say, like, I think our audience is a lot like us. I really think you guys will enjoy it. It's a really good takedown of
commentary,
just
culture commentary, yeah?
yeah, and the past 5 years have been ridiculous. And it's a really great, like, it has a very intense ending, though. But if you want to go see something relaxing, it's certainly not that.
I read the last
thought
20 minutes are bad shit, so I'm very excited.
the last 20 minutes are a lot. Even for me, I was like, what's happening? But I will say the tagline for the movie is hindsight's 2020, which I think is so funny. And the poster is lemmings going off a cliff. It's like pretty good. So.
Oh my God.
I know.
I want to go see it right now. Let's end the show. I want to go.
Saying, I don't care about like superhero movies. No offense. Like it's not my thing. I don't care about
Jurassic
it. And
I'm sorry. I'll wait.
I really wanted to, and then I was like, never. It got such bad reviews. I was like, whatever. And I think, but like I said, I love Ari Aster. We got a babysitter. We did the whole thing. Totally worth it. Had the best time. Just saying.
I was even considering like emailing our friends at A24 who let us borrow Civil War.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, can I please have a code?
A24,
please.
They really just nail it. I mean, they make
They're
the most wonderful movies.
That's my new favorite studio, A24.
We saw a preview for a new movie with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, where he plays the first UFC fighter. And his wife is, I'm so sorry, I forgot her name. She was Mary Poppins. She was in The Devil Wears Prada. Emily Blunt. Yes, but you don't recognize her because she's dressed like, provocatively and doesn't look anything like it. And Ben was telling me it's getting like a lot of hype and buzz. So I'll see that when it comes out too.
Great.
Yeah. Do we want to do really quick before we say goodbye? Do we want to do RFK or Annabelle?
Oh man, can we just go a little bit long and do both?
Yeah, we can do both. Okay, first, I think we should do the Annabelle update.
Okay.
So FYI, and thank you all so much, by the way. Our audience really appreciates the Annabelle updates. Thank you. I'm glad that we're not the only ones that are interested in this. So the Annabelle doll was in fact absent from the hotel room where paranormal investigator Dan Rivera died, though Adams County Police Deputy Coroner Scott Panawell stated Rivera's death was nothing suspicious. Rivera's death is still a mystery, and the results of the autopsy are still pending. And the future of the Annabelle Devil on the Run tour is unclear if it's going to continue or not. They haven't made any official announcements. So
I have a big problem with some of the commenters in our social media that I would like to address.
What are they doing? Please.
They are saying that dear Dan Rivera died of a fentanyl overdose or a
That
pill
is
overdose.
not.
And I would like to state that there is nothing in any of these
Nothing.
police or coroner reports to indicate any of that he was a drug addict or was found with any sort of drugs or paraphernalia or any of that kind of stuff at the scene of the crime. So please stop saying that because it's horribly disrespectful and false and gross. So please stop because ew, you guys are being really horrible. B,
Fentanyl too. Like,
yeah, like
I feel
ew.
like you would know. Like, I don't know anything about this, but can't you
There's
tell?
there's residue, there's bags, there's
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, I don't do fentanyl, so what do I know? But I mean, it's pretty clear when it's a fentanyl overdose. And I feel like that would have leaked, right? I
Mhm. Oh
mean,
yeah,
that would have
definitely.
leaked out. So, my other concern is that if Annabelle was not in Dan's room, where was she? Is she in the car? Because
Yeah.
you did some sleuthing and discovered that they haul her around in a U-Haul.
Yep.
And if that's the case,
Someone could steal it.
someone could very easily break into that U-Haul
Yeah.
and just yank her. So my question is that the real Annabelle that's on tour, or did they get a duplicate to bring her around and kind of like huckster people?
Do you want to know something even worse? I just found out that my husband this weekend didn't know who didn't know who Lorraine Warren was. I was like, we've been together almost 10 years. Like how I was like mad. And I explained the whole thing and he was like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just have never heard of them. And I was like, they're like the most famous paranormal investigators like that ever existed. Like
That-
ever. And they're responsible for like Amityville Horror, Conjuring, Poltergeist, like go down the list. He had not
Literally
heard of them.
everything.
So Ben and I will be watching the Conjuring series together this week.
You know,
That was
last week
my
was like the 15th anniversary of the Conjuring movies even coming out. So
that we will be doing that because he needs to be
good.
educated
He
clearly.
needs. I mean, he didn't go to college. It's not his fault.
I
He
just was
didn't.
like,
He didn't
how
teach
did you
him.
miss like what are you're married to
He's
me?
an intellectual, you know. So
Well, he needs to know about Lorraine Warren. Anyway,
and then
okay,
Lorraine Warren. Off topic. Wait, I had something to say and then I just lost it. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
that's okay.
It's
All right, we have
gone.
one final thing before we say goodbye. So this photo number 5 came out over the weekend. RFK Jr. Posted this. He is in my home city of Phoenix, Arizona. That's the top of Camelback Mountain. And he was hiking in jeans. I don't know if you can see through his shirt. He's sweating literally through his shirt. And he did this when it was 108 degrees outside. And I said, as a born and raised Phoenician, that's batshit crazy because, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Number one, it's like a joke with people that live in Phoenix that people that climb Camelback or Echo Canyon or Squaw Peak in the summer, like 50% of the time have to be like air evac'd out by firefighters and helicopters. And it's extremely expensive and disruptive. And number two, people can get debilitating heat stroke and you can actually die of it. It's actually quite dangerous. And it's always tourists. It is never anyone who is like from the valley, born and raised. And I just thought it was actually like pretty irresponsible for RFK to post this and give people the impression. I know he seemed fine and whatever, even though he's like in jeans sweating, like it just seems so psychotic to me. But it's actually something that's like quite dangerous to do, especially if you're not acclimated to that kind of heat. I was just in Arizona, I was just in Phoenix, then and had a really hard time the first few days acclimating to how hot it is. If you're not used to it, it is not something that you can just like, it's like being at high elevation. You have to be like okay with it. And I just don't think RFK should be telling people to climb Camelback Mountain in the middle of July when it's 108 degrees outside.
That's what I
all.
was gonna say. It looks like he is having a very hard time. The friend he's with, whoever that
The sun.
child is, I don't know what his kids look like, is not in the appropriate footwear. He's in like, tennis shoes, soft top tennis shoes and shorts. There's rattlesnakes and other kinds of venomous
Snakes,
snake
coyotes.
bites. Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
yeah,
scorpions.
this is a very dangerous photo op for the two of them, and I don't think it's a good idea to use your very, very strong influence to encourage dummies to go hike these
He also
mountains.
went swimming in sewage near Virginia, like just recently, and took pictures of it. And
Oh
again, like
yeah,
the, I just
he does a lot of
like
very questionable things, Megan. Let's be so for
just
real.
I was so pissed about it, and I tweeted about it, got a lot of likes and comments, and I was just like, I just like again, there's people are gonna see that and they're gonna go climb up there and either gonna like get really bad heat stroke or gonna have to waste all our amazing. Arizona has some of the best firefighters in the world it's ranked some of the best in the world, like going and wasting their time getting dumb people off of Camelback Mountain in the heat. And I just, like I said, I was just like, go to the gym, like go someplace, go where there's air conditioning. If you want to start climbing, hiking Camelback Mountain, again, when it's not summer, totally fine, whatever. People do it all the time. It's a really nice hike.
It looks
But
beautiful. Not in July.
Totally agree. So I just had to get on my soapbox about that. And with that, that's our show today. Anything else you want to say before we say goodbye, Miranda?
I remembered what I wanted to say.
What?
I found a contact for the Warrens' son-in-law, the guy who's like in charge of the Devils on the Run and the Warren Museum and stuff. And I like found a real contact for a show.
We'll see if he'll come on.
A different show that I work on, you know, that spooky show that I work on.
Yeah.
I found his contact because they've had him on as a guest. So
I would love to have him on.
I think we just got a step closer to getting him. So I'm gonna work on it. So
we will keep working on this.
That's my
We will not let this go. No one is more committed to the Annabelle updates than this show.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Miranda. Miranda's going to stay on that. And Wednesday, we don't have a live show because we have our Giselle Federman interview. So hopefully by Monday, Miranda can see Eddington and then we can do a full review.
I will
and maybe Ashley will even see it, maybe, if you have time. All right, you guys have a wonderful Monday, and we'll be back Wednesday with our Giselle Federman interview. See you soon. Thank you all so much for joining us. Bye.
Bye.